Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Hope you're keeping safe wherever you are. Coming up this afternoon, Cocoa Board says it will struggle to pay farmers this season as COVID-19 wreaks havoc on the sector. Already $1 billion lost to the virus. Also this afternoon, Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative charges government to tax mining sector more to save the economy. And do you believe 5G technology has anything to do with COVID-19? We'll be talking to a technology expert. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. Details right after this break. Welcome back to the marketplace. We begin with the cocoa sector, and CEO of Cocoa Board, Aboagye-Wiafe, says the coronavirus pandemic has left cocoa farmers in jeopardy. According to him, the spread of the virus has not just tumbled cocoa prices, but also significantly reduced purchase of cocoa from manufacturing companies. There's more in this report.
As cocoa prices fall on the world market amid COVID-19, CEO of Cocoa Board, Aboagye-Wiafe, fears payment of cocoa farmers will be a grave challenge. Already, Cocoa Board has revealed losing $1 billion in revenue as chances of securing the syndication loan for the 2020 and 2021 crop season remains on the balance. Aboagye-Wiafe regrets this will leave cocoa farmers shortchanged.
Every ton of cocoa coming from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, they were actually paying. But now that COVID had come, they are not even buying, let alone to pay the LID. Meanwhile, every farmer is looking forward.
All right, apologies. We'll bring back that report once we rectify that challenge there. Now, as global economies crash owing to coronavirus, gold has become the store of value, with gold prices hitting $1,688 an ounce. The Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, GATI, says as government looks for ways of generating revenue, the gold sector is one place to look. Dr. Steve Mantiao is vice president, and he has been speaking to my colleague Odelia Ntiamwa.
We're already in a hard or difficult time. What sort of recommendations, apart from the fact that compelling the finance minister to put some money into the contingency fund so that we could have gone for it, apart from that, what would you say government should be taking a look at, especially in relation to petroleum revenue?
You see, we need to look at what the various sectors of the national economy can contribute. There have been special purpose taxes that were introduced in time past, imposed on industry to help us get through some difficult situations. This could be the time, for instance, that we consider not all aspects of the industry, but maybe some strategic assets that can still generate revenue. Of course, the lockdown hasn't affected mining companies, and we know in times like these, when global oil prices are declining, you will find that gold prices
are rather going up and all that.
Exactly. So it may be for strategic reasons that the mining industry was exempted, and so we expect that they can contribute something towards the national efforts at containing the impact of COVID-19. Besides that, I think in every enterprise, when the business goes through hardship, the first thing that management does is to cut costs. A lot of the times, labor becomes the first line of those cost cutting, and so you have some redundancy being initiated to reduce the cost burden on the enterprise. In the same manner, one would expect that government will first look at its bureaucracy. I think that bureaucracy is overbloated.
Will that include cutting down on the number of ministers?
Yeah, I think for me the first will be some layoffs in terms of the number of deputy directorships that have been created in the parastatals. In almost all of them, you have 2-3 deputy directors created, which are new creation, and really truthfully speaking, they add no value to the operations of those entities. You have them at Minerals Commission, Ghana Water, Electricity Corporation, Metro Mass Transit, DVLA. I mean, name them.
But all these people would become unemployed too.
Oh yes, but those companies which go through difficulty and lay off workers think first about their collective survival as an entity. Now, the first, for me, point of interest is how we survive as a national collective. They won't be the only unemployed people in this economy. There are people who, for the past decade, 2 decades, have never found jobs, and they are not dead, they are around. And so for me, if we go to a national emergency, cost cutting requires that you look at the people in their face and say, look, these are hard times, these are normal times, and the president has repeatedly said this. So we need to take this decision. We need to lay you off so we can conserve some money to deal with national emergency for our own collective good. These are the kinds of hard decisions you expect politicians to take. Again, you expect that, for instance, the free fuel and other largesse that are available to political appointees will all be cancelled straight away. That also conserves some revenue for the state. And then you also want to do what we call budgetary realignments. And then you may also want to reprioritize expenditures. So, for instance, you may want to move money from other sectors into the health sector if that's where
the concentration is now.
Exactly. And we may want to maybe suspend certain major infrastructure projects. Okay, so that time, if we survive, we can come back to them.
So it's still on oil. One of the things that PAC has, for example, stated that could be done is take a good look at the where oil revenue is supposed to be going, the spending that has gone on, and probably reduce some of these and probably even cut out some of these totally.
That will be a very difficult ask of government, even though it's prudent. Reason being that over the years, because of our over-reliance on the petroleum revenues for the funding of the free SHS, it has left very little for spending on other sectors of the economy. Indeed, even if you look at the 2018 annual report of PAC, it shows clearly that less than half of our oil revenue was spent on infrastructure, even though the law requires that at least we spend 70% on capital projects. We couldn't do this largely on account of the free SHS. So if now we are going to look at the ABFA allocations and move resources to the health, it will mean doing this at the expense of allocations to the education sector, which then means that when school reopens, it will be difficult to send these children back to school if we don't find money to replace what we're taking to deal with the health service.
Now, since the outbreak of coronavirus, there have been many conspiracy theories, among them 5G technology being linked to the virus. Some have said even radiation from the various installations have killed several birds, and this could be one of the things that sparked the spread of the coronavirus in Wuhan, China. Well, joining me with some thoughts on this, Ghanaian entrepreneur, Dr. Prince Kofi Klujasin, founder and executive chairman of Celtel Networks Ghana Limited. Great to have you in the studio, sir. We don't always have this opportunity. So tell me this is not true, that 5G has anything to do with coronavirus.
Before you even arrive at the subject of what is 5G,
yeah,
before you link it to what they call coronavirus, is the first you need to establish.
Yeah.
And then you need to it's also remind me, many years ago, when we started this Celtel project in the 90s, we installed a 250 feet antenna at Makate Hill.
Right.
At that time also, we were dragged to the frequency board, even at that time, that there was radiation of Makate Hill and others. Now, for the 5G story that are going on right now, when you look at some of the videos, one on Nigeria, one on the UK, and you really look at what was happening before this migrated to 5G, sometimes if you know what is the industry, you would wonder how come. Because in the Nigerian one, for instance, they were laying fiber on the road. See, there's nobody on the streets. This is the time to quickly put the fiber on the roads, to be able to, do whatever they want to do. Now in the UK, it was the same thing. If you see the video in the UK, it was a lady asking people laying fiber, and they said, "Oh, is that a 5G fiber that you are laying?" You know, and then it became a major. Now there is no scientific, ruling today on whether or not 5G is causing coronavirus. It is not, from my own personal experience for the last 30, 40 years in this business.
Right.
First of all, whatever you talk about, the transmission of that thing is coming from your phone. Whatever the antenna is, the tower is, that they don't do anything unless you press this button. It does not transmit.
Okay.
Now these projects are what we call in frequencies, like JoyNews 99.7. They don't do anything until the frequencies are located by the NCA in Ghana, for instance. Now the frequencies that are being used for the 5G are old frequencies. They are not nothing new. It's 3.5 gigahertz, 2.5. 3.6, which are old frequencies that have been aligned now to operate in the next generation, which is high speed. Now, the problem with the 5G, or the issue of the 5G now, the country has reached a certain point where things might go very faster than they were. Now, if you look at this government, for instance, they have about 1.2 million cases in free SHS. What are they going to do? You need to connect them. Now that the pandemic has reached, what is being talked about is not the disease, but how do you be able to do connectivity for schools, students, what of video conferencing has emerged, so many things. Now, today, those issues go on a very slow pace. So today, the 5G, which is coming, who's not been here yet, will make sure things, go very fast. If you remember, we started from what we call 1G, 2G, 2G, 3G, 4G.
And some of us are still at 3G.
Even 6G has been announced already.
Interesting. So this sounds like a good thing, like something that we should all embrace. But it appears there's so much politics surrounding this. When you talk about China, when you talk about the US, when you talk about the UK, why is it so difficult for us to roll this out? I mean, on the international level, why is there so much politicking going on?
Well, you have to understand what is politics. Politics is power and money. You can translate politics into whatever you want. Politics is power and money. Now, when you look at this whole thing started from the US, Donald Trump fighting China over the possession of the 5G. Now, many years ago, the intellectual property rights of all the telcos, computers, rest with the US, in the Silicon Valley, boys or teams. Now, the equipment, the machines, the hardware come from China. That's where they are produced. But in telecoms, it's not machines. Telecom rests in a legal environment called intellectual property rights, like Joy FM. All that you are doing here is not Joy FM. It is 99.7. And the 9.7 must be licensed, must be regulated by national security and then NCA. So that's the environment which you are operating. You are operating in a legal environment, not the machine environment and the people environment. When that is done before the people come. So the 5G is the same thing. Now, another problem you have to know, in telecoms, you don't operate telecom from AC or power. It's from DC. All telecom operate on batteries. It's a DC. So you don't transmit anything from power or electric shock or whatever anybody gets. It's all from a DC operation. So the issues about 5G, it's a new thing, and all of a sudden coronavirus, nobody can see where it's coming from.
Okay.
But coronavirus has been there for many years, except that today that the kind of virus.
So why would anybody want to link coronavirus with 5G? I mean, to what end really?
Well, if you look at one of the video I saw was Pastor Chris even, and I was very surprised and shocked about Pastor Chris, who is attributing the 5G to that, then immediately his colleague Ashimolo came and reported him that it's not true. So you're in an environment where knowledge is power. You see, look, all these 5Gs. One of the major things I'm very happy in this going on right now is that, look, even though it's a pandemic, but my goal, my future, is that where are we going to be in Ghana? Because all these issues, when I came here today, so all of you are very young here. You can call it joy from all you want, but the knowledge base here is the young people. This is where the ideas come from. We, the presiding, the entrepreneurs, we use the ideas to make money, to create business and create other opportunities. So I believe that we should start looking more on those opportunities than all the negatives. Because we're going to dwell more on the negative, the time will come and bypass us once again.
Talk about looking forward to the opportunities. So how do you think things will play out in the near future as we try to roll out this 5G technology?
Oh, it's a very big opportunity for the world, for Ghana right now, because see, the 5G technology all of a sudden has taken the traffic off the road. You see, one of the major problems about Ghana traffic is that most of the Ghanaians, all of you, do not have internet at home, you don't have computer at home. You wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to jump in your car, to run to your office, to turn the computer on, you start to work. Now, today everybody's at home doing virtual video conferences or whatever it is. So the 5G or whatever you call it, government must quickly get back to the people's governance other than other governances. I
remember when this conversation came up, people were wondering if we had the infrastructure to support the 5G technology, saying that we are struggling with 3G and 4G. Your thoughts?
Okay, we, for instance, we are rolling a very major network. We'll be talking about it very soon. By June, we're rolling a very huge network that will be people-centered. In going to every district in Ghana, we have a municipality, have what we call a smart city technology. We are using all the hybrid, satellite, fiber. One of the major problems in Ghana is that we don't have infrastructure. That's very true. C-Squared only have fiber in Accra and Kumasi, but anywhere else, is tough. So the 3G, even some places in Ghana, 2G are still working before you go to 3G and the 4G. Now the 4G license that have been used were very expensive. Nobody could roll out a major network. So now there's something we call IoT, which is getting the gateway of 5G, which is one of the major things that Celta is about rolling. One of the things everybody needs in the house is to have internet and Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter who you are. And the pricing must be very affordable. One of the major provisions in Ghana also is that the World Bank has said that the cost of internet is very expensive in Ghana. And truly it's very expensive. Right. So something has to happen for it to come down so everybody can be connected. Now, if everybody is connected, most of you don't even have to come to work, because most of you who are in the media, you can communicate from anywhere on your phone.
That sounds cool. In these days, we want to promote working from home and all.
Yes, this is one of the projects that we're launching very soon under Celta Networks. So if you look at the country today, I think Ghana is very well positioned because what is being talked about right now, especially the universities, if you look at the University of Ghana, they want all of you to go on the portal, they're asking Vodafone to go and pick up a SIM card, there's crisis there. Because people are from villages in Ghana. We need to recognize that we are all from villages in Ghana, and that's where we want to be.
Great.
That's our spirit and soul are. So we need to connect those villages and connect them to whatever we want to connect to. Somebody called me this morning about some problem. I said, look, CNN is in a village in Atlanta. It's not even Atlanta, but the whole world watches CNN. Netflix is some village somewhere in San Benito.
So much. We are running out of time because we have to go to Parliament to cover it live. Dr. Prince Kofi Kujasen, founder and executive chairman of Celta Networks Ghana Limited. I appreciate your thoughts this afternoon. You have been watching The Marketplace.